We're all born artists. The problem is to remain an artist as we grow up. That was Pablo Picasso. And I think we've got to help our kids, all our kids, aim high in life. Not just high, but higher than high. We've got to help our kids find their passion, their art. So I'm Nick Corsten, I'm just a dad, I'm co-founder of SteamCo. One day maybe I'll be the CEO, I don't know. So SteamCo is a non-profit community enterprise that helps connect our kids with their art and our communities with their schools by running creativity days. And we want to get the whole community involved. We want people who've had kids, not had kids, got kids, whatever, to come and work with us to help us run these days.
It's magical.
What inspired me? Well, I saw a talk by Sir Ken Robinson. I read half a book called What's the Point of School? On what we should be teaching our kids. And I went to Camp Bestival, which is really a Glastonbury for kids. And I thought, I want this in my kids' school. I've got a lovely little film my dad gave me of me when I was 1 and him with my first ever train set. And I show that to kids in schools all over the country. And how my dad gave me the greatest gift. He gave me my art. Because art is what we call it when what we do might connect us to somebody else. So art could be painting, it could be photography, it could be cooking, it could be coding, it could be dancing, it could be design, it could be DJing, it could be robots, it could be rockets. The fun, the excitement that we have making and firing rockets in schools is to be seen, to be believed.
This is the best day of my life.
This truck contains everything you need to run a creativity festival in a primary school. 30 coding kits with the BBC Microbit. We've got rocket making kits. We do cardboard challenge. We can do the egg drop. We've got a t-shirt printing machine so we can print I Love Art t-shirts. So the kids design their own logo, take a selfie. We've had thousands of posters of those done. That's with JR, French street artist JR. So we've got communities all over the country designing I Love Art logos, taking photos, and we sent them off to JR and he's printed 1,000 of these off for us, which we're fly posting all over the country. So in lockdown, we got an Arts Council grant and we built a green screen TV studio. We've been live streaming events all summer. We did a 3-day Glastonbury event where we built a half-sized pyramid stage from cardboard and code and ran 3-day events. We had Martin and Gary Kemp. We had Glenn Matlock from the Sex Pistols on stage alongside community artists, dads and their kids. And we had a young lad from Leeds called Lenny who played his piano on stage, all virtual.
We learnt a lot in lockdown, and as soon as it lifted, we took it out on the road. We built a cardboard Coventry cathedral, itself optimistically rebuilt after the war, and took it all around the country. With our green screen magic, kids could perform on a stage, and we launched it to inspire them to aim higher than high with their art. Inspired by Elon Musk's vision to take 1 million people to Mars in 30 years, we built a cardboard Mars base camp with a 150-foot tall starship. Now we need people and organisations to collaborate for creativity.
For me, collaboration is everything.
Elton John gave me the greatest gift. Actually, he made a film, I don't know if you saw it, with John Lewis, where basically he tells the story of how he was given a piano as a kid and worked hard and made literally 1 million. I saw that film, ripped it off, put our own subtitles on it, and Elton John retweeted it. It had 50,000 views in an hour, and I went on a 2-week UK tour from Cornwall all the way to Carlisle, showing that film, showing my train set film, talking to kids about art and creativity, letting off rockets, and inspiring schools across the country in our 12 days of Creative Christmas tour.
You've inspired one little boy in particular, a very quiet boy, and as that rocket shot into the air, we heard the words blast off come out of his mouth.
Innovation, technology, and dreams rocketing up to the sky.
The state education system, we have a lot of people feel it's been narrowed and narrowed and narrowed, focusing on teaching and testing of highly academic subjects, which are important, which are right for some kids, but it's not for everybody. And some kids come out of the education system literally broken. 9 out of 10 schools in Britain have reported cutting the arts in some way or another, which is a real tragedy. And we're going to lose that cutting-edge creativity that made Britain so famous. Creativity is Great Britain, after all. The ideal future for me would be a whole load of these trucks on the road with passionate, enthusiastic, committed, creative people, helping connect kids with their art and communities with their schools all the way across the UK. As Albert Einstein said, imagination can take us anywhere.
I would like to have STEAM code day in my classroom because we get to learn about
It's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. And you are never going to guess where I slept last night. Oh my goodness. I had the most fantastic time yesterday at this school. You cannot believe the welcome I had. You won't believe that. I'm just coming into Scampton here, RAF Scampton over there, and a red arrow just went past and did a whole plume of smoke and a loop-the-loop. Unbelievable. Wow, what a welcome. That is called catching a rocket in the trade. Oh, fantastic. Here we are, high above the Lincolnshire countryside. Fantastic, on our hashtag Mission to Mars 21 tour. Unbelievable. That's RAF Scampton. That's the RAF Scampton Air Base there, where they scrambled some Dart T1 jets, the Red Arrows jet fighter team. They look like they're all about acrobatics. They look like they're out to entertain people, but they're really keeping an eye on all of us and keeping us safe, because they spotted some mischievous goings on by the look of it down there at Scampton Primary School. I don't know if we've got a better shot of that. Can we cut to a slightly better shot of that? There we go. We cut that. So we literally built a cardboard Mars base camp. We resurrected our Mars base camp. We've been taken all over the country, and we put it down there in the school playground at Scampton Primary. You can hopefully see me waving. I'm there, that's me, and we've got the PowerPoint all ready to go for you. Let's change that, put the Steamco logo up there. And then on the other side is a cardboard Mars. We've made Mars out of cardboard. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about inspiring our kids to be creative and how we all have responsibility to be part of that. I'm literally down here. I think you can see me now. We'll zoom in. Got the Steamco camper van. We're on a gosh, how many days it is. We're now, I don't know, a month, 2 months of autumn term. We were very lucky to get some sponsorship from the Inspiration 4 SpaceX mission, from LGFL, our friends, and also Make Do, who've got some great product, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Oh my goodness, welcome to my life, welcome to my crazy life. I'm just a dad. My name is Nick Corsten, and I am a dad who builds cardboard Mars models in school playgrounds and Mars base camps as well, and just does my best to inspire kids and have a bit of a laugh along the way. And yesterday morning I had no idea where I was going, and here I am in a school playground in Lincoln. I slept here overnight. We had a fantastic time yesterday. And what a week. I mean, Monday I was with this incredible guy, Chris Dyson. He's the school leader, the head school community leader up there at Parklands Primary, on one of the most socially challenged estates in the UK, if not Europe. And every year that man has 24 days of Christmas for his community. It's quite remarkable. And the first day we kicked off on Tuesday, which really was a fantastic day. Chris was an absolute star. I think we might even have a little video of that. See if we can get the video of that up. Is that going to work? Is it going to work?
Right, good morning, children. and welcome to the start of Christmas. Bit of bad news, we haven't got any lights. I said we've got no lights. But then our lovely friend to the school, Nick, who's back in the house again, answered the call late last night, drove all the way from London. If you guys can sing and you guys can create that Christmas spirit that we love so much, then our voice can travel through all these wires around the back here and everything and switch on those lights. You brought the Christmas cheer and the Christmas spirit through these wires on the floor all the way up to that beautiful stage. Give yourself a round of applause. How wonderful and how beautiful. Give yourself a round of applause.
You really can't overestimate the vibe of being there and what that meant to those children. What that meant to those children there at Parkins Primary. Some of whom rarely leave the estate. Fantastic, fantastic day. And Chris Dyson is what I call a brave school leader. A teacher, a leader who believes in creativity, who believes in collaborating with his community, his immediate community, and further abroad for the best of those children. That's a true child-centered school built on love and empathy and respect and creativity and inspiration. Just wonderful. And we also launched our Cardboard Xmas 21 campaign there, 12 days of creative Christmas, travelling around the UK, helping school communities live stream their assemblies from our camper van, and also running creativity workshops as well, showing families how to make Christmas. Don't just buy Christmas, let's show people how to make it. And we ran a workshop with 15 families there who were currently out of work. They got together with the children. We had a brilliant time, and you can find that video on our Twitter page, but it's just wonderful. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today. I'm going to do a little talk and show you what we talked to the children here at Scampton Primary about. And at the end, we're going to have competitions to win some free stuff. We've got some books, we've got some creative kits, and we are going to launch. Yes, we are going to launch. He says, pressing buttons frantically. Let's see if I can zoom out on that a little bit. Is that going wide enough? We are going to launch that rocket. We're going to launch that massive rocket over there. Let me try this one here. That might be a little bit better. Let's see if I can get my rocket up. Yeah, there's a rocket. There we go. Look, we're going to launch that rocket over there. We're going to launch that live on this live stream at the end of the session. You have got to be here to believe that. We've had clearance from the RAF again. We let those rockets off on Friday. They've given us clearance to let that rocket off again tonight, and that is a 150 feet tall cardboard rocket. You'll find out in the next few minutes. In this session, I'm going to talk to you about what we do at Steamco very, very briefly. We're going to talk about creativity. We're going to talk about the greatest gifts you can give your kids, and we're going to talk about lots and lots of cool stuff. But most importantly, we're going to talk about helping your kids aim high. Well, no, not just high. Let's show your kids how they can aim higher than high, because let's face it, isn't that what we all want for our kids, to give them the best possible opportunities that they could ever dream of? Aiming high, not just high, but higher than high. And nobody at the moment inspires me much more than this young lad, actually. This is a young lad who in the 60s, they hadn't invented the internet, hadn't invented YouTube, and he read every single book in the school library. he had a thirst for knowledge. He had a hunger to know more, how things work, had the skills, the creativity, innovation skills. He learnt coding. He loved reading. He read Iron Man comics. He loved Iron Man comics. And that gave him the vision. He gave him a dream of leaving Earth, aiming higher than Earth, which, as most people will know, is, what, 240,000 miles away from the moon. He dreamt of going to Mars, 50 million miles. And that young lad left South Africa with some coding skills. He started PayPal, helped code PayPal literally, and sold his shares for 450 million or so. He spent his money on a solar panel company to do what he could to make the world a better place by helping solve the climate crisis, the carbon-based climate crisis with solar-powered homes. Absolutely fantastic. From there, he decided to start making electric cars. He had a 3-stage plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. His first stage was, because nobody knew him for making cars, he built the best, the fastest, the most amazing car, the Roadster. He sold a few hundred, a few thousand, whatever, for a lot of money, $300,000 I think they were. His second car was a bit cheaper. He sold more of them. The third one even cheaper still. He sold lots. They're actually selling out like hotcakes. It's unbelievable. And he's also built a thing, a transportation system that shoots people down tubes using electromagnetic motors, which actually were pioneered at my old university, Loughborough University, as it happens. Yes, that man, that boy who grew up to be this man, Elon Musk. And Elon Musk is now not spending his money on trainers and Xbox games, although I'm sure he's got some trainers and an Xbox, but he's spending his money on rockets that can be reused, rockets that go to space and that can come back to be used again. And it doesn't seem to, is it going to play this? Let's have a look. Falcon 9 first stage landings. This is a film of one of his rockets, not taking off, but landing on a robot-controlled drone landing base in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, I think that was, so that they can fill it up and use it again. And believe it or not, he's actually built a robot now that can catch those rockets to speed it up, because he wants to launch 3 a day. He's on a mission to go to Mars, and I don't know about you, Mars, I mean, a lot of people talk about how Mars is quite an exciting place and a little bit gloomy and a little bit bleak. Let's see if I can just pop myself up on Mars, actually. Let's see. Whoop. Here I am on Mars. Fantastic. Wow. With a Mars rover behind me, Mars rover no less over there. So Mars, we've been going to Mars one way or another. For one, in fact, there's a Mars rover up there at the moment, which is got a little drone helicopter. You can check that out. So basically, Elon Musk wants to take 1 million people to Mars.
This dad needs 1 million kids as soon as possible. When he was a kid, he read every book in the school library. He learnt to code and made millions. Then Elon Musk decided to try and help save the world by building a massive solar panel company. He developed a 3-phase plan and became the best electric car brand in the world. He proved an innovative concept for transporting people in tubes and flogged it to a British granddad. Then he decided to build a rocket, which blew up. So he built another, and that blew up. So he built another, and that one worked. Well, for a bit. But he stuck with it, and now it works. It launches and it lands, to be used again. He's even building a robot to catch it now. Soon he'll be building a starship a week, then one every 3 days, till he has 1,000. Then he'll be flying them to the moon and beyond. To Mars for 10 years. Do the maths. 1 million people and 100 megatons of kit on Mars in 30 years. He just decided to let another dad fly Wired magazine and The Guardian have said I'm a man on a mission after I co-founded a non
Absolutely unbelievable, isn't it? Isn't that just an incredible story? Elon Musk, 1,000 starships over 10 years, each one carrying 100 people. 1,000 times 100 times 10 is 1 million people going to Mars. Unbelievable. And he's inspired our mission to Mars, hashtag mission to Mars 21, inspiring 1 million kids to aim not just high, but higher than high. 1 million people are needed. We want to inspire 1 million kids. And that's what we're talking about here. We are launching our hashtag Million21 campaign. We want 1 million people to give us £1 or a few more to give us a little bit more maybe, to help us raise £1 million so that we can put 22 people like me and our Steamco drop trucks on the road next year as part of the government's National Festival of Creativity. They've got £120 million for that. They didn't give us any because they gave it to 10 organisations, which is fine, who are going to do incredible work, all promoting STEAM skills, science, technology, engineering, art and maths. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic year, and we want to do the grassroots version. So if you'll be part of that, then be a member, be a patron of our project, Steamco, the Steamco Patreon. Check this out.
Wired magazine and The Guardian have said I'm a man on a mission after I co-founded a non-profit 10 years ago to promote creativity with the community of my son's primary school in Paddington. I'm just a dad, but I'm passionate about creativity in our schools, work and lives, and I'm now on a mission to raise £1 million to inspire 1 million kids, and I need your help. 3 years ago, the Culture Minister told us about the government's plans to run a year-long festival of creativity and innovation that we wanted to be part of. We launched our Art Connects 19 year in Parliament and ran community events in school communities across the UK, in Cornwall, at Camp Festival in Dorset, and with the community of a school in Bradford. A chat with Niall Rogers at a school in Toxteth rounded off a week in Liverpool that gave us a theme for 2020.
So my whole life is a collaboration.
With emergency COVID funding, we've run virtual and real community art events like a Glastonbury festival on a cardboard pyramid stage in a school in Somerset, others on a cardboard Coventry Cathedral, an art camp in a field in Devon, and a pop-up disco under the moon in Kent, as well as a live-streamed New Year's Eve party to kick off our Inspiration 21 year. Elon Musk's dream of taking 1 million people to Mars in 30 years inspired our Mission to Mars UK tour, which was sponsored by a dad who went to space on one of his rockets. I built a starship from a few bits of metal and a Mars base camp from cardboard and hit the road with a green screen TV studio in the back of a camper van, live streaming into schools and running workshops. We went up through England to Edinburgh, across to Belfast and down through the Lake District to Liverpool to a village school in South Wales. We shared inspiring stories, we created stuff, and we launched rockets to inspire our kids to aim higher and higher with their art. This Tuesday is National Giving Day, and we're launching an appeal to raise £1 million to put 22 of our pop-up day drop trucks and Steamsters like me on the road next year. Wednesday, we're back at Parklands Primary in Leeds with a global live stream to launch their Christmas month and our Let's Create Christmas tour to inspire families to make toys and presents from cardboard. Be part of it.
So that's what we're talking about, the Our Million21 project. If you just search the hashtag on that, you can chip £1 in, you can chip £1 a month in. If you do, you'll get exclusive access to podcasts and all bits and pieces. And if you're an organisation, what we call a creative carer, someone who cares about kids, creativity and all our futures, whether you're a person, an individual or an organisation, there are sponsorship opportunities to help us really make some real change next year, and maybe even buy us a camper van. Maybe we can buy a camper van with a change, because I'll tell you what, this is a great format for crew events, for just getting out and about and meeting people. It's just wonderful. So that's where we're coming from, and that's how this young man inspired us, Elon Musk. And really what I want to talk to you about, and what I'm talking to children about across the whole country, is something that could help you make a little bit of money, something that could help you make a few friends, or something rather like Elon Musk with his solar panel company and electric car company, something that can make a better world, and that is your art. I love showing this film to the children actually when I travel around the country. It's actually an old John Lewis advert. Let's see if I can get this to play. Does it not want to play? Doesn't want to play. Okay, well, not to worry. That's the John Lewis Christmas ad from a couple of years ago. We've got a question mark. That's a timely question mark. I just don't know why that wouldn't play. But basically, we love to talk to the children in our assemblies about art. I love art so much. I got the t-shirt, as you can see, I've got the t-shirt, the I Love Art t-shirt. In fact, we'll do a competition to win 3 of those at the end, actually. If you'd like to win one of those, just remind me. But art, what is art? Well, art is whatever you want it to be, but for us, art is what we call it when what we do connects us to somebody else. So like Grace and Perry, your art could be dressing up in ladies' clothes and throwing cakes around and making very valid points about society and politics and life. Your art could be painting. Your art could be photography. Your art could be dancing, design, like Murag Myerscough here. Your art could be DJing. Your art could be fashion, like Victoria Beckham. It could be football, like David Beckham. We've got to help our kids find their passion and tap into that and find that enthusiasm to be inspired to learn a set of skills that will get them through life, whether their plan A is football or whether their plan B is developing a website or working on the management side of football or whatever, sports science, whatever. Your art could be cooking, like the Big Bake Off. Your art could be coding, not just playing computer games, but programming and developing them and making money doing that. Your art could be cardboard. And in a moment, I'm going to show you some really, really cool stuff with cardboard. Your art could be rockets. I suppose you could say my art is rockets. I'm not a rocket geek in any shape or form. It's one of the things I do, primarily because I love the buzz and I really feed off the adrenaline and the excitement that we get in school communities when we do let rockets off. But I love steam trains just as much, to be honest, and I love Stephenson's rocket. Here, a cardboard model made by Will Alexander for an event that was held in Sunderland, and this is our launch event in Sunderland 5 years ago. Stephenson's rocket, invented by a young lad, a Geordie boy, who couldn't read and write when he was 12, 13 because he'd worked in a coal mine from the age of 4, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. He saved some money, learnt to read and bettered himself and ended up inventing the steam engine, which had a bigger influence on the world than the iPhone, believe it or not, or even the internet, because without Stephenson's rocket, we wouldn't have got the coal and the iron ore up the railway lines to start the Industrial Revolution. Robots, your art could be robots, and I love going into schools and showing kids this little robot that I built out of Lego from instructions by a really cool guy, David Gilday built this robot, and it's basically a robot that can solve a Rubik's Cube. And it scans the surface of the cube, it's got a camera on the top there, and it works out where all the different pieces are. Now, this is a kit that I actually was given by John Lewis a few years ago. I just walked into the store and they gave it to me because it was faulty and they thought I could do something useful with it. I don't know if they think I have. And basically it scans the surfaces. It's now looking up on the brain. There's a little computer brain, that grey box at the front, and it now knows what it's got to do. And in 2.5 minutes, this Rubik's Cube robot will solve a Rubik's Cube. I mean, it really is quite remarkable. And but what's amazing about this is it was invented by somebody, by a human, using every piece in a particular Lego set. There we go, it's done it. Absolutely fantastic. And we take that into schools on our Art of Robots Day, and we can show you that. This is a really cool one, check this out. This is a robot that David Gilday built using a smartphone instead of a 15-year-old computer brick from Lego. But it's still built with Lego. And basically what it's got the smartphone, it's got 5 or 6 more motors on there, and it will solve a Rubik's Cube in 3.25 seconds. There you go, 3.25 seconds, job done. And if you think that's cool, check this out. This is a robot inside a Rubik's Cube. Whoop, is that going to play? Maybe it's not. I've got problems with my video today. So believe it or not, that's supposed to animate around, but it doesn't seem to want to do it, but not to worry. So we're talking about art. We're talking about art for all. And Elton John said a few years ago that in 2022, he's going to stand up for art and creativity in our schools. Obviously, COVID came along, which is a little bit of a shame. And that's what paid to that, because he's had to cancel his tour and postpone his tour, and his tour's back on. And now Elton John's probably going to be focused on that. So tonight, we're putting a call out to people like Elton John. Elton, will you sponsor us? Will you put a £1 in? Will you support what we're trying to do here to inspire kids and provide art for all while you're back on the road on your tour? Because we know you're a very generous, very inspiring, very creative musician. And with 1, maybe 2 #1 hits this year, surely you can spare us a couple of quid, maybe £1 a month even. So Elton John, we appeal to you. Because the 3 greatest gifts that anybody can give our kids, whether it's Elton John and his 2 boys, whether it's any parent or creative carer, the greatest gift we can give our kids are quite simply a little bit of time to read with them, to play with them, to be with them. Some stories, reading stories, making stories, giving our kids life experiences that they can turn into stories to tell later in life, to make sure that people think they're interested and interesting, to give them great career opportunities, and to give them their art. These are the greatest gifts we can give our children. And this is a film of me, it's not going to play again, a film of me with my dad when I was 1 at my first ever train set. and my dad showed me how to make a bridge. He inspired me, he gave me some time, he played with me, and as a result of that I ended up becoming an engineer. I went to Loughborough University for 5 years and did a master's degree in electronic engineering. I've always loved making, I've always loved doing, so that seemed like an obvious thing for me, and here I am today, making and doing, I suppose, in a way. Time, stories and art, the three greatest gifts. So the question we ask children when we go in on our sessions is, what's your art? What is it you're going to be passionate about? What is it that you're going to spend your love, your life, your time doing that's going to help you make some money, help you make some friends, and help you make the world a better place? What's your art? And our Mission to Mars tour does exactly that. We talk to the children about rockets, we talk to the children about the mission to Mars, and we give them a mission inspired by Elon Musk and that lad who read a book. And in fact, this is a book that my dad found in an Oxfam bookshop in Ludlow in Shropshire. My dad's 84, he found this book in an Oxfam bookshop. There's also a movie called, of the same story, October Sky. It's a fantastic book written by a man called Homer Hickam, who's been incredibly generous to us. And Homer Hickam wrote this book, Rocket Boy's here, and in fact I'm going to give a copy this away. We'll give a copy this away at the end of the session as well. I'll have a little competition to run for the next few days, so if you do have to get to bed, don't worry. And in a minute I'll tell you what, I'm going to show how all this kit works. If you want to know how this live stream works, I'll show you that in a moment as well. I do love this actually. Rocket Boys, Rocket Boys and October Sky are in fact an anagram, because this is the story of Homer Hickam, who as a child grew up in a town called Coalwood in America, where there was only one job, being a coal miner. One night he looked in the sky and saw a satellite going by. No, not one of Elon Musk's Starlinks. He launched 26 the other night actually, but the Sputnik satellite. And Homer Hickam learned to make rockets and ended up working for NASA. And we're so grateful that he's actually become patron of our Rocket Kids Club, which we're going to do some exciting things with next year. But that boy, that man with his friends stayed with it. They worked hard, they used their creativity, their ingenuity, they read, they got support from mum, dad and a teacher, and ended up making a rocket that went 6 miles high in the sky. So we're calling on all rocket people. I mean, Homer Hickam wrote that fantastic book, and Homer's been incredibly generous to us. But last year I actually wrote a book. Chuck on the floor. I wrote a book last year which was the Rocket Kid stories. The stories, 9 short stories that spin out of the assembly that I do for children. 9 short stories that you can read with your kids at the end of every day to instill that habit of reading. And I'm delighted that Chris Dyson bought one of these books for every child in the school there at Parklands, and Chris Tolson bought a couple of big boxes as well at the school in Bradford. So grateful to these people for their support. Tells the story of Homer Hickam, the Rocket Boys, Dr. Helen Sharman, the first British person in space who was a woman, not Tim Peake. The 3 figures, the 3 hidden figures, the African-American women who did the maths to get the American space program into space, and this amazing man, Jared Isaacman. A dad who went to space recently on the Inspiration 4 mission, the world's first all-civilian crewed mission with SpaceX, along with Chris Tombrowski, who's an engineer, Haley Arcano, who's a medical assistant, and an amazing woman, Dr. Cyan Proctor, who's an analog astronaut, poet and artist, and she actually took her art to space, and they went to space for 3 days. Do check out the Inspiration 4 Netflix series, it's brilliant. And we're so grateful to Jared, because Jared has generously sponsored this tour and our previous tour. One of 3 sponsors. We look for 3 sponsors every time. We got 1 last time, I think 2 this time. We need 1 more if we can keep this on the road for Christmas. But Jared has been so generous to us, and it's just been fantastic with his speech that you can see there. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, looks like this is Jared Isaacman in space. My slides are a little bit all over the place. There he is. There's Jared and Haley and Chris and Cyan there on their way to space. SpaceX is just brilliant. So, mission to Mars. What's the mission? Well, your mission, the mission we set the children here at Scampton primary school, we talked about making things from cardboard using these little blue screws here. This is the make do system, which is absolutely brilliant. I was on BBC Breakfast 10 years ago where we launched the British Global Cardboard Challenge, and we had a fantastic time. We made stuff with an early version of this, and I've just tracked it down again. But you can make amazing models and toys with this, just using recycled cardboard. You don't need glue guns, you don't need tape, just these little plastic screws that you can use again. It's absolutely fantastic. And this is the art of make do. You can make crocodile outfits, you can make massive monsters, you can make cars, you can make diggers, you can make knights in shining armor, you can make robots, you can make flying saucers. And yes, we have got a bit of a flying saucer thing going on at the moment, if you haven't noticed. Quite excited. I love the John Lewis ad this year. I'm sorry, a lot of people moaned about it, but I think it's just fantastic. It's a lovely story. I love the music, Electric Dreams, because that's what we're doing. I mean, I've been live streaming Electric Dreams. I've been dreaming. We've been sending and sharing Electric Dreams with our live streams for a year, so I felt it felt really appropriate. And we've actually built one of these little flying saucers, and what we're going to do is we have a competition to see who can do the best John Lewis ads rip-off. I don't think we'll get many entries at the moment. We're so busy, but we've done one. We're going to wear that in a few weeks. So absolutely fantastic. Look at this. You can build just amazing things. And this is my favorite. This is the cardboard wind ball, which, as you know, is what we've used today on our set here at Scampton, RAF Scampton, just down the road from the airbase there. And that's what we've built our set with. Our whole set here has been built with these little blue screws. In fact, I might just show you the kit. Actually, you might just be interested. So this is the, let's just advance that a little bit. Yeah, this is the kit. Look, let's zoom in on that. So this is the kit we're talking about here, and we're the only people who've got these for sale at the moment because they've sold out. You can buy them off somebody on Amazon, or you can buy them off us, and we're a non-profit, so I'd hope you'd buy them from us. And this is a lovely, lovely little set. So you've got this is the starter set. This is 20 quid. All the others are sold out, and we've got about 20 of these left to sell to try and pay for our petrol money. So you've got this lovely little toolbox here. In fact, look, a good idea now. Shall I show you how this all works? It's apart from just knowing how cardboard stuff works. Shall I show you behind the scenes? Who would like to see behind the scenes of this Steamco live stream? Right, let's see if we can get this working. Come on then. Where's my camera? Is that going to work? Is it going to work? Yes, it is going to work. So I'm holding a GoPro camera here. This is my GoPro camera. I can zoom wide. I'm still holding a GoPro camera, but if I press this button here, you'll realize, in fact, that I am, so there's a camera in front of me there, which I'll cut to. So that's just me on a black screen. But is it really black? No, it's not really black, is it? Because the screen I'm actually in front of, he says, is in fact green, because I'm in front of a green screen. I'm actually in a camper van in the playground at Scampton Primary School. There's my breakfast stuff, and looking out the window you can see that I am in fact at Scampton Primary School. And I've just realised that grass is green, which is a rather weird thing to say, but obviously it's not very useful for green screen. Or is it useful? I suppose, yeah, it probably is quite useful. It means you can just get rid of it. And here's my make do set. And in front of me, I've got this laptop. So I've got a laptop which is actually quite complicated, this software, especially if it's late at night and you have a little bit of a meltdown panic. If things don't work, it's quite confusing. And I've got all the audio stuff here. Look, so I've got all my audio faders and stuff. I've got my video inputs, and I can control that using this button here. So if I press the button here, it will fade from that to that. And if I press this button here, or that one there, that will put over there, it will put the satellite image up there. So that's ready to go to that window. Everything in this window is what's going out live. So when I press this button here, it will fade from that one to that one.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal.
And if I press this button here, or that one there, that will put over there, it will put the satellite image up there. So that's ready to go to that window. Everything in this window is what's going out live. So when I press this button here, it will fade from that one to that one. I can zoom in using a button. Why is that not zooming in? Was that, it is zoomed in, is it? Oh, right, that was zoomed in. Oh, this is the really wide one. Okay, so I can go up to the runway over there, and I'm doing all this by just pressing the buttons here. So these are my different fade buttons, my different settings. This button, these controls here control my audio. So this is my audio, and I can map different things into different things over here. Over here is my PowerPoint presentation, which I'm running. I've got a disco mirror ball over there. That's from our Disco Tree 21, but that's another conversation. In fact, because it's my birthday, I'm thinking of going back to London, having a party in the camper van tonight. So that would be good, wouldn't it? So this is the make do set. So this is this make do set, and I'll just show you how this all works. So basically, we've got a little saw. Got this little saw here, and using this little saw, we can saw cardboard. And this is, I think, suitable for years 5 and up. But you know what, you'd really struggle to hurt yourself with this. I mean, it's no sharper than a child's dinner set. So if I wanted to cut that piece down there like that, look, I can cut through that like that. Now, cardboard's great because cardboard has corrugations that run this way, which means it's easy to fold it that way. But if I want to fold it the other way, it's a bit harder. So we've got this little perforation tool. And with the perforation tool, oh, it's a bit tricky with this camera here. Let's try this. Look, I run that down there like that. And what it does, it makes lots of little holes. Hope you can see those little holes there. And I can fold it on those holes like that. Really cool. And when I want to fix, so if I wanted to fix this to make a little corner unit like that, I get my screwdriver and I put a hole in there like that. So I've got a hole in there like that. And then I get one of my little screws. So these are called screws. Oh, I dropped it on the floor. SCRU, like that. Okay, little blue screw. I put that in there like that. And then using my screwdriver, I turn that round, I screw that in, and I've now made a really strong joint. Now, as you saw, you can make all sorts of fantastic things with this stuff. It's just wonderful. And I'll be honest with you, I really think that this has got to be the Christmas present for this year. It's got to be the Christmas present of all Christmas presents, I think. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And let's zoom back in on me. So that's make do. We've got about 20 of those left in stock, and I think this is going to be the hottest Christmas present this year. So this has got the screwdriver and the saw and about 80 little screws. How many screws has it got? 30. I'm going to put my glasses on. It's all a bit hard to read all this stuff. Where did I put my sit on my glasses? There we go. Let's have a look. It's got 36 screws, little ones, so 48 screws, a screwdriver and safe. So that's plenty, absolutely plenty to build some amazing models. I mean, if we look back at those models we had there, I mean, most of those, well, actually that one, that needs quite a few more screws, but that needs about 30 bits of cardboard, 30 times 4, about 60 for a big ball. But we can sell the screws separately. You could make that, for example, with one of those sets for 20 quid and no raw materials. I love going to supermarkets now, just picking up loads of cardboard. It's just brilliant. That's just me though, I suppose. So that's the cardboard stuff, make do. Another thing we've been talking to kids about is coding, and we taught everybody in a class this week to code this thing called a BBC microbit. They're just 15 quid, so go and buy yourself one of those. Get yourself one of those. Teach your kids coding over Christmas. Learn yourself. We had a teaching assistant, head teacher here on Friday, Mr. Heaven, who'd never, ever done coding before. And then, of course, we love rockets. We do like rockets at Steamco, so we make rockets, paper rockets. 3 stages, you make the body, you roll up the nose, and then you make the fins just from pieces of paper. And when we go into schools, we bring everything you need to actually do that. So that's our rocket thing, and I think we'll do a rocket launch in a minute. So that's really what we're talking about today on our Mission to Mars tour, helping our kids aim not just high, but higher than high. This has been a wonderful evening. Really enjoyed live streaming it. Thanks to our sponsors, thanks to our supporters, Jared Isaacman at Inspiration for the SpaceX mission, to Make Do, and Sam and the guys there at Big Jig Toys, who've been really supportive to us with the Make Do reseller dealership, and I'm actually the UK ambassador for Make Do, which is wonderful, and I think it's a wonderful product. I have no problem endorsing that. And the other thing is John Jackson and the team there at LGFL. Used to be London Grid for Learning. As far as I'm concerned, they're the local Grid for Learning. L for Leeds, L for Liverpool, L for Luton, L for London, all over the country, L for Lincoln. They're able to provide internet connectivity, creative tools. You get the whole Adobe Creative Suite when you buy into LGFL and use LGFL to provide your school connectivity, and some fantastic educational content as well. They've got a Polar Explorer that's just gone live. It's off the scale. Absolutely wonderful. So that's really what we're talking about. And please don't forget the R1,000,021. If you can chip £1 in to help us raise £1 million quids to inspire 1 million kids, we'd be very, very, very grateful. But now, finally, just to say goodbye from here at RAF Scampton in Lincolnshire. Thank you so much for checking this out. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a wonderful experience. Let's just see if we can't launch this rocket and inspire our kids to aim not just high, but higher than high. Thanks for joining us today.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, as you can see, we haven't got the launch there, have we? We haven't got that launch. A little bit more technical than we thought, actually. Welcome to this live stream. Welcome. Thanks for sticking with it if you are still with us. Got a few people out. Let's have a few shout outs. Pop a little message in the box and let us know if you are out there. Any message you pop in. What have we got here? Also, VOG FYI, whatever that means. Vask.tech. Okay, so we've got some interesting comments from somewhere in the world there. Hannah Stead, yay, we can see our children at Scampton CAV Primary School. You absolutely certainly can. So if anybody wants to put a shout in, do pop a shout in. It'd be lovely to know who is here. There's a few people online by the look of it. Where is everybody? Let's see where they are. A few people on Facebook, a few people on YouTube, so that's good. This is going to be live. We're going to keep this live, so you're going to be able to watch it again. So don't worry too much about the big panic about watching it now. And as I say, we have got a video clip of the launch, and that wasn't it, was it? Because this is it. Let's get this up and let's show you this clip. It's not going to have a sound effect, I'm afraid, so we're just going to have to make the sound effects up. I did edit it, and we might have to sort of redo that again. This is the thing, and it's all live. I've got family trying to get my dinner ready, so let's go for it again. Whoops, not that one. Wait. Oh, I got the wrong one. Still got the wrong one. This is the one we want. This is the one we want. Here we are, high above RAF Scampton, the view that those Lancaster bomber pilots would have seen. And here is the primary school. Get ready to watch this launch. Get ready to watch us take off and inspire everybody to aim not just high, but higher than high. Let's get that rocket off. There she goes. There she goes. Absolutely fantastic. How do you like that? How do you like that? I'm quite pleased with that, actually, I must admit. Quite excited by that. Quite excited to see that. And yeah, absolutely wonderful. Look at that, what a beautiful sight. And there she goes. So make a wish, make a wish. We launched a rocket yesterday, and that's there you go. There's a 150-foot cardboard starship taking off. My goodness, who'd have my job, eh? Who would have my job? What's that, somebody outside? Somebody wants to chat? What's going on? Somebody outside wants to have a bit of a chat with me. Well, who is it? No, I'm live. Do you mean I'm live at the moment? You don't care? So yeah, quite a remarkable morning. I mean, I rocked up last night in Lincoln, hoping to find a school because Paul Weller's playing in town Saturday night, and put a few emails out. And this fantastic school connected Scampton CV Primary. Mr. Hebborn, come over here and say a couple of words. What were your first thoughts when you saw the email this morning? When you saw the email I sent in?
Well, it seemed a really good opportunity, to be honest, and sometimes it's really nice to be spontaneous, and it seemed an offer too good to miss. It was perfect for our school.
Well, fantastic. You have to be very careful what you wish for with me. There's a Guardian article that said, I talk quickly till people say yes. That was the headline. We didn't even get the chance. It was an email. We did the assembly this afternoon. We just stood out in front of the children. What thoughts, what memories, how do you think that will work with you and your colleagues as you go back to school next week? Does this inspire them and connect the curriculum at all?
I think it will. The assembly itself was very much based on the inspiration of many of the world's inspirational leaders. And I think also just the fact of having to think on your feet sometimes actually spurs children on, it spurs staff on. It certainly, the short notice element of what happened today was such that a whole team had to sort of galvanise themselves into action. And throughout the course of this afternoon, with 3 activities going on in the building, completely different to what we'd anticipated that we would be doing.
Which your colleagues led, I should add, as well. So they had that briefing. And it was great to see you actually standing in the playground giving them a briefing. I can imagine it wasn't a million miles from the briefing at RAF Scampton down the road. We'll come back to that. But it's very important to note, this is very last minute, but at the same time, did you feel it was robust, the documentation, the risk assessments, the insurance, everything was in place, you felt comfortable? Because it has to be safe and secure at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, so shortly after our email exchange and our plenty of resources on there with all the hyperlinks and everything that we needed just to get ourselves going. So I think once we'd navigated our way through it, we felt very confident welcoming you into the school. And as I say, it was an unplanned afternoon, but it was well worth it.
Well, because I think the way we say it to the children, I mean, teachers like to be prepared and have to be prepared. Time flies, you've got a lot to cram in. But at the same time, we have to be prepared to show our children that we learn from them. And I know you led the coding activity and you've got a digital leader in that class. How did that work? Because obviously you've never done that before. Your assistant had never done that before. How did the children work together? And did you find that you've got that digital leader thing going on? Was that working?
There's a wonderful thing in the computing curriculum which is called debugging, and often debugging is solving your own problems, really. And I think actually the way that we approached it was the first time for everybody, and we all had to learn together. I found myself walking into a classroom with a PowerPoint that I'd never seen before, with some equipment that I'd never seen before, and we all learned together. And actually sometimes when you learn stuff together, you then look around and all the children are learning together and they're discovering things and then sharing it with one another, and you know, nobody was the master in that particular scenario because everybody just had to, you know, find their way and then support one another with that.
No, it's fantastic, and it's great to see the children sort of coming together and supporting and helping each other. What I mean, we had to we let a rocket off at the end. I hadn't realised quite how close you were to RAF Scampton and the significance of that base, because as I was coming down the road, I literally felt as if I was getting strafed by a red arrow. I mean, did you called ahead and cleared it with them? Did you? Because you said there was no problem. What happened there?
Well, that's correct. I think from our telephone conversation when you said that you'd be launching something 500 foot in the sky, I don't think you realised that we frequently have the red arrows up above us, and so obviously sending things up in the air, we need to get various permissions for that. We've got a very good relationship with RAF Scampton, and I was able to make a few phone calls and just sort of liaise with them. So between us, I was having conversations with the control tower up at RAF Scampton so that we had clearance for your rocket to go.
Very grateful for the sponsorship of LGFL, the Creative Technology Trust, Make Do the cardboard modelling, and also the Inspiration 4 space mission led by another dad, a little bit unlike myself, Jared Isaacman, and he's connected with SpaceX and obviously Elon Musk. We mentioned Elon Musk, and then you had a few observations around Elon Musk, and this is what I love. I'm not a rocket geek, I'm not a rocket expert, I'm not an Elon Musk fanboy or expert by any means. I'm a bit of a jack of all trades. You said some interesting points about Elon Musk that kind of connected back to the assembly. Just bring us about to those.
I find Elon Musk a very interesting person, and I've often been inspired by some of the things that he does. I'm an electric car driver myself, and so I've sort of taken a bit of a keen interest in that particular industry. And some of the things I've learnt in recent years, and you know, through discussions with other people, I find quite interesting, and it sort of broadens your view about the way the world works. In particular, one of my things that I found interesting was how he's chosen to lift a lot of his patents in order that the industry can share their research and development, because actually the only way that things are going to grow and improve and develop is actually by people sharing and collaborating. And I find that very interesting. I find that a very interesting means of the world developing. And I think even when you sort of move into schools, we're part of collaborative partnerships, and it's in our interest to share our knowledge, and it's in our interest to share our skills, because actually collectively we grow better rather than growing in isolation.
Absolutely fantastic. And you mentioned the collaboration word there. I mean, STEAM co, science, technology, engineering, art and maths, whatever. For us, it's about creativity. But the co word, a lot of people think stands for company. We're registered as a non-profit community interest company, STEAM Collaboration CIC. And for me, the collaboration is the really important word there. And there's a phrase, an African tribal phrase, it takes a whole village to raise a child. As far as I'm concerned, it takes a whole village to inspire a child, whether it's the RAF inspiring your children, maybe doing some talks occasionally, technology organisations, creative organisations, and it's these collaborations. And field to give their children the best experiences and the best aspirations. So let's do elbows to that, shall we? Nip down the Dambusters for a pint, shall we? Fantastic. Thank you very much, sir. Brilliant. Well, we did indeed nip down the pub just for a swift half. Lovely to have a pint where those Dambusters would have drank and just meet the community. Fantastic evening, really interesting chat there. Just to say, if anybody's interested in winning a prize, we've actually got some prizes, so we'll get those up next. A few people watching. If anybody would like to put a shout out on the screen, that would be great. It'd be lovely to see some people put some messages in. Believe it or not, for some reason, I was supposed to be able to make it look like I'm actually on our base camp, and I don't know why, but all the images seem to have disappeared. So I can go to that one. So we can go back to our satellite image, which is absolutely fantastic. And so we can zoom in on that and show where we are at the moment. The problem I have, there we go, that's the air base over there, just so you get an idea of where we are from RAF Scampton itself. But for some reason, I've lost my, look at this, I'll show you this. This is what's happened here. I seem to have lost my background, and I don't know quite why. I don't know what's happened there. So I haven't actually got a base behind me, have I? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of just push that there and push that there and get myself out here. This stuff is not for the faint-hearted, I must admit, so I should just set this all up. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm in the street outside my house in London. I've come home for family Sunday dinner. I bought some electricity off the neighbour because they're on the other side of the road, and I didn't want to run the power across the road. So these are the trials and tribulations of live streaming. On our mission to Mars, helping our kids aim not just high but higher than high. It's been a fantastic evening. Thanks to our sponsors, LGFL, the creative technology education tools and content providers, Make Do, the cardboard people, and Inspiration 4, Jared Isaacman's SpaceX mission. If you are able, prepared to chip £1 in to our million campaign. We want to raise £1 million. £1 million for 1 million kids, and you can just search for #R1million. If you join, basically you can either just chip £1, and if you can put £1 a month in, you can be part of our Patreon. We're going to do an exclusive podcast and all sorts of stuff like that, and just try and build some community. We'll get a free make do kit. So we've got some very small kits, these little blue screws. We've got some, they're actually totally out of stock, the small sampler kits. We're going to get 100 of those in the new year. So for the first 100 people to sign up, £1 a month for the whole next year, we'll get one of those free. We've got some of these kits. We've managed to get some of these. We've got the only stock of these left in the UK. So if you want to buy one of these for Christmas, go to our website and you'll find these under Make Do. We're the only people, as I say, with those in stock. And that's 20 quid, that set. So that's brilliant. This is how we're paying our petrol money. And in fact, let's have a competition. Why don't we have a competition? This week, between now and the end of our tour, which will be a week on Tuesday, 12 days of Christmas, we're going to give away 3 of the, you can only just buy, but we're going to give 3 of those away for the best cardboard model. So make something out of cardboard, put it on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, tag it with Cardboard Xmas 21. We'll also put a little form up so you can pop your details in, and then have a competition. We'll judge that next week. We'll put the rules for that up, and we'll do that on the. So if you go to Cardboard Xmas 21 webpage, we'll put that competition up in the next few days. And I think we'll also have a competition to win the school size kit as well, which is fantastic for 20 children at a time to get involved and use that. So many thanks to Mr. Hebben at Scampton Primary School, who I literally emailed on the Friday morning. He saw that in break because he was teaching, as many of our head teachers are actually in class now because they've got staff down with COVID. He saw that, somebody mentioned it at lunchtime, he checked it out, gave me a call, we went in an hour later. It's just fantastic, and I do love the spontaneity, I do love the agility of some of our head teachers. Some people can't do that, and that's fine. Tuesday we were at Parklands Priory. This week tomorrow we're down in Weymouth in Dorset. Tuesday we're in Dorchester with a fantastic school, Prince of Wales School, with Mr. Spracklen there. We're going to do an amazing day there. That's going to be a live. Wednesday and Thursday we're looking for 2 schools between there, ideally in Sussex. I'm going to Sussex, so Sussex, Kent, no, not Kent, Kent / Essex, Thurrock. On Friday as part of our project with the Royal Opera House and Arts Council England, their bridge organisation there. So thanks very much, very much for joining us tonight. I'm going to just drop this little video out, this little trailer for our mission to Mars and for our hashtag #OurMillion21. Thank you so much for joining us today. It really does mean a lot, and we'll see you again soon. Watch this space. Wired magazine and The Guardian have said I'm a man on a mission after I co-founded a non-profit 10 years ago to promote creativity with the community of my son's primary school in Paddington. I'm just a dad, but I'm passionate about creativity in our schools, work and lives, and I'm now on a mission to raise £1 million to inspire 1 million kids, and I need your help. 3 years ago, the Culture Minister told us about the government's plans to run a year-long festival of creativity and innovation that we wanted to be part of. We launched our Art Connects 19 year in Parliament and ran community events in school communities across the UK, in Cornwall, at Camp Bestville in Dorset, and with the community of a school in Bradford. A chat with Niall Rogers at a school in Toxteth rounded off a week in Liverpool that gave us a theme for 2020.
So my whole life is a collaboration.
With emergency COVID funding, we've run virtual and real community art events like a Glastonbury festival on a cardboard pyramid stage in a school in Somerset, others on a cardboard Coventry Cathedral. Well, I'm very sorry about that. It looks as if we had another internet outage, so I'm just going to replay that video. I'm really sorry about this. We've basically, I've had to use a Wi-Fi connection from across the road, and I don't know if it's coming and going, but here we go.
Wired magazine and The Guardian have said I'm a man on a mission after I co-founded a non-profit 10 years ago to promote creativity with the community of my son's primary school in Paddington. I'm just a dad, but I'm passionate about creativity in our schools, work and lives, and I'm now on a mission to raise £1 million to inspire 1 million kids, and I need your help. 3 years ago, the Culture Minister told us about the government's plans to run a year-long festival of creativity and innovation that we wanted to be part of. We launched our Art Connects 19 year in Parliament and ran community events in school communities across the UK, in Squadrom. A chat with Noel Rogers at a school in Toxteth rounded. With emergency COVID funding, we've run virtual and real community art events like a Glastonbury festival on a cardboard pyramid stage in a school in Somerset, others on a cardboard Coventry Cathedral, an art camp in a field in Devon, and a pop-up disco under the moon in Kent, as well as a live-streamed New Year's Eve party to kick off our Inspiration 21 year. Elon Musk's dream of taking 1 million people to Mars in 30 years inspired our Mission to Mars UK tour, which was sponsored by a dad who went to space on one of his rockets. I built a starship from a few bits of metal and a Mars base camp from cardboard and hit the road with a green screen TV studio in the back of a camper van, live streaming into schools and running workshops. We went up through England to Edinburgh, across to Belfast and down through the Lake District to Liverpool to a village school in South Wales. We shared inspiring stories, we created stuff, and we launched rockets to inspire our kids to aim higher and higher with their art. This Tuesday is National Giving Tour of our pop-up day drop trucks and Steamsters like me on the road next year.
You've arrived at your destination.
Wednesday we're back at Parklands Primary in Leeds with a global live stream to launch their Christmas month and our Let's Create Christmas tour to inspire families to make toys and presents from cardboard. Be part of it. I don't know if there's anybody still there, but believe it or not, I'm actually trying to edit that launch video and get the right soundtrack on it. I'll tell you what happened. Basically, is that going to work? Yes. Oh goodness me, not really. It's on a bit of a go slow. So basically, that's I'll send that through to you all separately. Not to worry. My computer can't cope with it all. Let's just say good night. Good night.